when you talk about design inputs, these are going to ultimately go into what becomes the design history file. It ultimately becomes what you manufacture to. When we look at a product concept, a person that's got an idea, they want to have it developed, one of the first things that we want to focus on is trying to work on what are the actual design inputs. And the design inputs are a list of minimum requirements to create a product that's going to function. So we'll often spend quite a bit of time delving into what are the design inputs, talking to the clinician about what does it need to have to function. And sometimes it can be some silly things like what color does the catheter have to be? Because sometimes in a background environment in the cath lab, the color becomes important. That design input list is very important because what often happens is interactions, so we start moving from what the device needs to function versus what you might want. And not necessarily having good functional input. People can want a lot of things, but it may not have anything to do with how the device is going to be used. Does it help with the ease of use? So you kind of need to keep focused on those design inputs to try to keep from adding a lot of extraneous things. Those extraneous things often will add time to the process, and sometimes they detract from the functionality of the device that you're trying to create. The Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree is, you could just call that a general medical degree for mammals, because basically you're trying to learn everything you can about surgery and medicine and in all mammalian species. In my case, I didn't go into things like snakes and birds, but that's out there too, of course. So once you have this grounding in medicine and surgery, it then sets you up, in my case, to have an open conversation with clinicians in the human medical field about what is it they're trying to achieve, again, and what is the disease state they're trying to treat, what does success look like, what does failure look like, because we can have that conversation based on the clinical ground that they're coming from. Many of these patients that these physicians are dealing with have a pretty marginal substrate for their overall health. And having some understanding of what the expectations are in that environment helps me work with the clinicians on what do they really want out of this, what's success going to look like. So I've leveraged my veterinary degree to the maximum in dealing with other physicians.